Here's the mandatory spoiler warning. I'm not trying to be at fault for you niggas clicking on the video and expecting a spoiler-free review of the characters, because I can't do that. I mean, it's a game that's so easy to spoil. You gotta talk about at least a little bit of spoilers. Hope you enjoy. I'm really glad that the first video actually did It did a lot better than I thought it would. I didn't think niggas would really be fucking with that. And if you haven't watched it, then I'd say go watch it, because I had a lot of fun making that video, and I think it was good personally. But that's just me. And I was going to make this video anyway, because how could I not? The characters in the second game are way better than the characters in the first game. It's not even a competition. The second game is just a clear upgrade from the first. They got a better protagonist, better characters, better scenario, better class trials. They even had this weird like pet system that I didn't utilize at all because I couldn't understand how to use it. But I mean, go crazy. I'm just gonna hop right into it. What did they do to my boy? Oh my god! Nigga, what? The once great Byakuya has been reduced to this sad state. I refuse to believe that this was real. When I first started playing it, I was coping hard as hell. I was screen sharing it to my homie, and he was just laughing at me because, like, this ain't it. I refuse to believe it was real, and thank God it wasn't fucking real. I even think about it from the perspective that this might have been him after the first game. Ain't no way man's gained that much weight. Even if it was a year or two later, there's no way. Not my Byakuya, but Fat Byakuya was also good in its own right. The ultimate imposter who took Byakuya's form was still a really good character. In the game, he was a great, much-needed leader that was even better than the real Byakuya in that standard, because he actually took a real leader position instead of just asserting his authority onto people like the Byakuya from the original game was. Off rip, he decided that he'd take responsibility for everyone and try to protect them and guide them through as much as possible. He did everything he could to lead and organize everyone. And even though he was the first to die, he had a hell of a lot more character than Sayaka. And I still don't get the appeal, man. I never will. I initially hated Fat Byakuya because I was just salty that they changed one of my favorite characters from the original game, but he grew on me. And that's the exact opposite opposed to how I felt about Mikan. Now, the horny nigga in me was pleased whenever Mikan was on screen. Like, I'm not immune to that either. I'm a nigga probably just like you watching this video. She constantly says concerning things that appeal to the male fantasy, which is good to some extent. However, they do this way too fucking much. Like, Mikan, mate, she's kind, selfless, and she prioritizes the well-being of others, but who gives a fuck when they're just putting her ass on screen every 5 seconds? It's like that one girl from Fire Force, interrupting action and good dialogue with fan service. Like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to play a game. If I wanted to go beat my dick, I'd go beat my dick. So it's really just unnecessary, and it kind of just annoyed me more than anything. Speaking of sexy characters, though, Teruteru, man. Man, look at those curves. That stylish hair. The braided scalp. And he can cook, too? Ooh, man. Wipe this nigga up. No, but all jokes aside, I didn't really like this nigga at all. He was just weird and predator-like. But I will say, he made the first trial the most memorable trial in this series for me so far. Screaming through the floorboards is crazy. If you know, you know. As far as I'm concerned, Mahiru is this game's Sayaka, which is sad because she was in the game for a lot longer than Sayaka was in the game for. And I'm sitting here making this video, writing my script that I never follow anyway, and I look at her character profile and I'm just thinking, I got nothing to say about her. Like, I got jack shit to say. I'm racking my brain even right now as I'm recording this. And I just can't think of anything interesting that I liked or disliked about her character. She was kind of just there. She's most notable for being Saionji's friend. Pathetic. Saionji, on the other hand, is an amazing character. Very aggressive, very animated, despite her small stature, like a chihuahua. I like her because she's unapologetically herself, doesn't compromise ideal, constantly talking shit on niggas, just not mincing her words, being not afraid to express herself. I thought her dialogue was good, and every time she was on screen, it was an interesting interaction. She even grows as a person later, learning to consider others, but she never loses her fiery spark that makes her a good character in the first place. This is a great character. I probably wouldn't fuck with someone like this in real life, but a good character in a video game. Number one baddie in the first game was Asahina, and this one is definitely Akane. I love dark-skinned anime girls, if you can't tell. And if we box, she'd probably sleep me, but at least I'm not going out without a fight. I mean, she's not the smartest, but she's compassionate. She has sharp instincts, which actually proves useful in a few of the trials, and she's an essential member of the cast. The game probably would have been worse off if she wasn't in it. Can't say the same for Mr. Splatoon ass nigga over here. Bro, what a bitch ass nigga. I don't necessarily hate him, but he is a bitch ass nigga. Whenever he's on screen, all he does is bitch and moan. He simps for Sonia, who's clearly not interested. That was it overall. All he does is bitch, moan, and cry. Splatoon ass nigga. Monomi. Words can't describe the disappointment in my heart when I turned on this game and I seen Monomi pop on screen. Like, Monokuma has charm. He's quirky, great dialogue, unironically made a nigga laugh a few times, and he has a great design. A 10 out of 10 character all around. And Monomi has none of these qualities. She's boring, annoying, and stupid, and every time Monokuma bullies her in the game, it brings a smile to my face. I can't stand Monomi. I think the game would have been better out without her. They could have just completely written her out of the story, and I don't think anything would be lost from the game. Gundham Tanaka. That's my nigga. That's my guy. Why are the Chuny characters always so lovable? Him and his 4 Dark Devas of Destruction go crazy. He got a nice voice. I'm talking about his English voice. Actually, let me check out his Japanese voice real quick. Shit, the Japanese one's just as good. Gundam can't lose. There's something about how animated the delusional characters are in anime in these games that's just so endearing. And even throughout the game, it's very clear that he's just using this facade of grandeur to cover up his insecurities and awkwardness, which I can relate to. A very respectable and fun character. Nekomaru is that guy. I know I probably said it a few times already in this video, but they're just like, Nekomaru is that guy. Each Danganronpa game has to have a JoJo character, and he's this game's JoJo character. He even has the all-for-one full cowling shit over his eyes. He's a being that transcends mediums. I love his boisterous attitude. He's friendly and passionate about shitting. I've never met a guy who was passionate about shitting that was a bad person. He's serious when he needs to be serious, and his upbeat nature puts a smile on my face. All these good qualities, and he also has a huge dick. A man amongst men. Pekoyama was runner-up for best girl in this game, off of design alone. She has this cold, cool atmosphere about her, but that's not all there is. She's actually caring, compassionate, and an extremely loyal individual. Because she was raised as a tool, she's not really accustomed to expressing herself, but she still makes an effort. She's mainly just a real nigga because she went down for her nigga. She's a real ride or die, and the one she's loyal to is equally loyal. I'm trying to get a relationship like that for real, man. But the object of her affection, Fuyuhiko, I have mixed feelings on him because he's kind of just a bitch for no reason, refusing to cooperate in a Every time you interact with him, he's just on timing for no reason. And refusing to cooperate in a situation like this only makes things more difficult for everyone. And I know I gave Byakuya a pass, but he's not smart like Byakuya. So he doesn't earn the right. But it's okay because he did redeem himself and turn things around. He pulled himself together. It still doesn't change the fact that he was a bitch ass nigga for a good chunk of the game. Sonia Nevermind was one of my favorites. Honestly, I think I might have to change best girl to her. Because while I personally don't believe she has the best design, I think she has the best personality. She's naive, but in a way that's of cultural ignorance, which is always endearing to see. She does her best to get along with everyone, even niggas like Teruteru. She ignores Kazuichi a lot, which is great. Fuck that nigga. I also really like her obsession with the occult stuff. Even in the game, there's something so great about hearing people talk about the things that they're passionate about. She's just one of those characters that has a framework that works well with every other character, which results in organic feeling dialogue. All the scenes that she's involved in really good, and I'm glad that she stayed to the end of the game. I liked Miyoda. She was a simple character, but that actually works to her benefit because not everyone has to be a complex mystery box that you can write a whole thesis on. She's a ball of energy who loves music, and that's her whole character. Sometimes it's just fun seeing people have fun. I mean, some niggas in real life are just as simple. Hajime is the GOAT. Hajime, a protagonist 10 times better than Makoto could ever be. There was rarely a time in my playthrough where I thought that Hajime's thought process was lacking or where I thought he was just doing some unnecessary shit. He was a great protagonist and felt less empty than Makoto. Because it kind of felt like as a player I was inserting my will on Makoto, while in Hajime's story I felt more like a bystander just consuming the story. He felt more like an independent being and thought for himself without having to be constantly prompted by an external force. He had his little sidekick character too, but they felt more like partners than Makoto did with Kirigiri. Makoto was just being led around by Big Sis, while Hajime and Chiaki were equals. Chiaki was also a GOAT. She was intuitive, which the game explained was from her gamer instinct, which is great because that means the last 15 years of my life actually have worth and meaning. It's not doomed for me. I mean, personally, I feel like I could have easily solved these murders because I'm just that guy. Chiaki was an amazing companion. She communicated effectively, helped in the trials, and above all, she has a banger personality. I saved the best character for last because, honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about this nigga. Nagito Komaeda, he's voiced by Kirito, so automatically that's points subtracted from him. This nigga voices too many damn characters, goddamn! Good for him for running up his bag, but I mean, golly. But anyway, Nagito is just on some weird timing. Like, he's just creepy and weird. Like, I couldn't stand talking to a nigga like him. But on the other hand, he is kind of that guy though. He's smart as hell. Usually he'd solve each class trial before any of the other niggas even knew what was going on. Like, his intuition and intelligence was crazy. I mean, I guess it's true that the ones with the most talent are usually the weirdest. While as a person, he's absolutely insufferable, he was kind of the GOAT. I mean, and his weird nature kind of grew on me, and I look back on some of his scenes kind of fondly, but I don't really know. I'm kind of like 50-50 on him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and leave a like so more can see it if you enjoyed the video. Y'all stay safe and have a good one.